Hey beauties! So today I'm going to be walking you through this strawberry shortcake look. Let's get started. So I'm going to start with lid primer. I like to always start with this because it gives me a nice base to keep my shadow nice and bright without having it crease as I wear it throughout the day. I'm going to start with my Modern Renaissance palette using the shade Vermeer, pressing it onto both eyelids, making sure to slowly blend up to the brow bone, keeping the higher concentration of pigment mostly on the lid. Using a smaller fluffy brush, I'm going to use the shade Swoon from the Kat Von D My Vida Loca palette. I'm going to focus this color on the outer and inner corners of the lid. I'm doing a bit of a halo eye, so we're going to kind of start there and build some depth. So I'm keeping it a little bit soft, making sure to keep most of the product directly on the inner and outer corners of the eye, and then gently diffusing it. I'm going to use a smaller, flatter brush for a little bit more blending and density using the shade Love Letter from the Modern Renaissance palette. I'm going to go over the lighter pink shade to create some depth and just kind of build the intensity and making sure that I am diffusing the edges. Same thing over here, just building that depth. Back to the same brush from earlier. I haven't added any pigment to it. I'm just going to use it to soften the edges and blend the two shades together. I like to do this a lot. I kind of go back and forth, and I feel that it helps to make the blending more seamless. Small, tiny chisel tip brush. I'm going to use this darker shade. It's Brandywine from Star Crushed Minerals, and I'm going to use this to really intensify and get that depth on the inner and outer corners of the eye to get that halo look. I like the smaller brush for this because it helps to keep the deeper pigment exactly where I want it, and I don't run into the issue of it getting too diffused so that I lose the depth and have to keep building. And I'm gonna go over the center a little bit. I don't want a full gap. And again, I'm taking another brush with no new product on it just to kind of go over and diffuse. Concealer time. Doing it a little bit differently this time. I'm going to use a powder foundation, so I am doing my concealing and highlighting first. My skin is causing me a lot of problems right now, so I had to use a little more concealer than usual. Blending out. I love this airbrush concealer brush. It really helps to distribute the pigment while giving it an airbrushed finish so that it doesn't sit too heavily on top of the skin and it buffs it right in while maintaining that coverage and concealing. Using the Anastasia Beverly Hills Stick Foundation in Alabaster, I'm going to do a little bit of extra highlighting just because it's a little bit lighter than I need and I can get a good highlight from it. I'm going to buff it in with this Tarte foundation brush, keeping it nice and soft and not looking heavy on the skin. Blend, blend, blend. It's all about blending. This is one of my all-time favorite foundations. This is the Bare Minerals Loose Mineral Powder Foundation. It's the lightest shade possible, of course. So I really like it because you can just buff it into the skin. It gives you a nice natural finish that mixes with the oil of your skin to keep it looking really nice and sheer. I'm gonna do some contouring right under the cheekbone, sculpt it out, try and give some angles to my delightful round cherub face. I always do under the jaw and my chin. As I said before, my chin's a little bit longer, so I like to kind of make it look a bit shorter to bring it more in proportion with the rest of my face. And again, don't contour my forehead because I don't need to. If I contour it, it'll look way too small. And I'm just using some excess powder on my nose so it doesn't look like it's just floating there by itself in the middle of my face, as I always say. Blush. This is NARS Orgasm. I love it. I wanted to keep with a pinky theme for the strawberry shortcake look, so this was the absolute perfect blush for this. one of my all-time favorite products, the Nicole Guerrero Glow Kit. I'm using shade Kitty Cat. Oh my God, Lord Almighty, look at that glow. Ugh, it's always a goal of mine to turn my face into a reflective surface, and this palette is the closest I have ever come to being able to do so. Oh, it's just so beautiful. Look at that. I can't get over it. I think I always do this. I'm always gushing about my highlight. Oh, here we go. Some Moonchild. Gonna use some Pink Heart. Give a little bit of a pink sheen to the highlight to keep in theme so that I have a nice pinky look overall. Going in with a slightly darker shade Destroyer from the Mi Vida Loca palette, adding to the bottom lids on outer and inner corners. Back with some of the Brandywine from Star Crush Minerals to add some depth. Wrapping it around from the bottom to the top lid is important for continuity and consistency, and then that way you truly get that depth. Back to Vermeer. Gonna add a little bit on the bottom there to keep with the halo eye. Keep it nice and bright in the center. It's brow time. I'm gonna comb these bad boys out, make them look presentable. I'm using the brow pen from Anastasia Beverly Hills in the shade Universal Light. I like this because you can do individual strokes that look like hair, so you get a nice naturally full looking brow that is totally waterproof without having to use something that's as thick and heavy as dip brow. So when I use this bad boy, my brows look nice and naturally full, and they're gonna stay all day no matter what the temperature is. Do a little blending, keep the hair in place. This is the Benefit Gimme Brow in shade light to medium. I like to comb backwards first and then forwards. That way all of the hair is coated so they look a little bit thicker and fuller, and they're going to stay in place better because there's gel all over the hair. Mascara time. Got some Wet n Wild Mega Plump going on. I like this mascara because the brush gives you really, really, really good definition, which is important because my lashes are long, but they are thin. I'm going to use the very, very tip of the mascara wand to do kind of clumpy lashes on the bottom. I'm doing it on purpose. I want to go for a little bit more of kind of a doll look, so having the lashes a little bit thicker is great. These are Ardell Wispies. I like them because they look like the MAC 35s. I always stick them to my finger like that so that they mold to my lid. I'm just putting some plumping gloss on. This is just the Glam Glow Clear Matte Plumping Gloss. I'm going to leave that on while I do my lashes so that my lips are plump when I do my lipstick. And we're just squeezing those bad boys on. These lashes are pretty straight, so that's why I like to wrap them around my finger to warm them up so that they form to my lid and don't give me too much trouble. Because my lashes are naturally so curly, using straighter lashes can give me a hard time sometimes. This is the shade Lovesick, good lord, in the Kat Von D Everlasting Liquid Lipstick. I chose this because it is the perfect tone for the shadows I'm using, and it goes really nicely without taking away from the eye. And this is Lime Crime Diamond Crusher. I'm gonna just kind of put this over top for a little bit more of a metallic 3D lip. I'm just blotting it out with my finger because I don't want it to be too thick and too shiny. Alright, so that's it for this look. Hope you guys enjoyed. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.